In the final segment of Jones and Company with Fred Mitchell, our Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration, what would you say has been the... there are people who question, Minister, whether or not the immigrant population in the Bahamas has been good for the economic development of our country and in our national interest. What do you say to that?
Again, that's asking me for social commentary, but what I would say is...
Well, you have a lot of people in your constituencies who are from of Haitian descent and who've been living in Fox Hill, for instance, for many, many years.
Yes. I'm going to say this, though. In the application of the law, the principle is that work permits are not granted unless that skill is not available in the Bahamas. So what that says is the country admits to the fact that not all of the skills which are needed for the development and forward movement of this country are available here. So you have to bring in skills from the outside. The only question is at what pace, what numbers, what price, and they must be documented. So that's the issue. So clearly, you can look and see, going back, that people who have come to this country from other countries have made a great contribution to the development of the country. The founding prime minister of the country, his father was Jamaican, was brought here as a policeman to help the police force. That clearly was a benefit to the Bahamas.
And the list goes on and on.
There are others,
There are many people whose ancestors are from somewhere down south in the Caribbean.
I told people that,
I believe Mr. Roca,
yes.
His people were Bajan.
That's right. That was my understanding, but I wasn't even going to go there because my grandfather, Sonny Ford, was brought here as a one-year-old baby with his father, who was brought here as a tailor from Barbados, from Black Rock, Barbados, as a policeman in 1900. So, we're all integrated in that way. That's why I say you have to be careful when people say things like, Bahamians are xenophobic and so on and so forth. The evidence doesn't support it. The evidence is, and the Passad report that was done when we were looking at accession to the CSME said that the Bahamas has by far, in proportion, the largest population of CARICOM citizens of any country.
Yeah, but this phobia developed sometime in the late 60s, early 70s, when there were some political problems in Haiti itself, because there was a time when the Haitian people came to the Bahamas to trade and they went back home. And we didn't have the problem of, we didn't have an influx of illegal immigrants from Haiti.
Well,
and so after the problems after the Duvalier regime, then we start getting this phobia developing in the country, right?
Well, no, I'm not sure that is. If you read Sean McQueenie's essay, which deals back to just after the Haitian Revolution, you'd find that in this country, they passed special laws because they thought the revolution was going to spread from Haiti to here. And they made laws where black people couldn't stand up in more than twos and threes because they thought they were all plotting to overthrow the established order in concert with French Africans, which is what Haitians were called. So that's the 19th century. If you read Dawn Marshall's book, The Haitian Problem, which she did in 1977, you'll find Max Thompson was then the honorary consul for Haiti in the Bahamas. You'll find that the colonial government in the 1950s had the same policy of roundup and repatriation. And that's been the cycle all along. So it's the actual provision that was put in the Constitution, this Article 7, was meant specifically to deny citizenship to those individuals in that place, which says your parents actually have to be Bahamian before you can be Bahamian at birth. So successive governments have been struggling with this issue of what to do. So we're still in this of trying to manage migration. And migration, if I may be permitted to say that, is a natural state of mankind. You're hungry in one place, you go to the next place to find a job. The only issue here is you cannot come through the back door. You got to come through the front door, and it's got to be documented. We cannot have a situation where our country is swamped by masses of people. I asked these people in October, 3 days in a row, boats got into this country, 100 people at a time. How could you sustain that?
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
My final question to you, do we have a national security problem as a result of this, all of this in the Bahamas, Minister?
Not properly managed, we do have a national security issue facing us, and that's why we have to get on top of the problem. And I've said, even to the youngsters in my constituency, you are subject to being sent back to Haiti, a place you do not know, if you don't get your paperwork straight. And the lack of enforcement and the so-called slackness, that expression that we use, has led to all of this. And I'm hoping that we now have the discipline to keep it up, and that we are not waylaid by the public relations ploys of people who just don't have a sense of balance.
So that is what you're doing, bringing some discipline to the Immigration Department and in enforcing the Immigration Act.
I hope so, and I hope also giving Bahamians a sense that this is their country, and it is a country which is worth protecting, and a way of life which is worth protecting.
Minister, thank you so very much for being here today.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching and listening to our program today. Good evening, everyone.